Yeah, it is such an honor to join a long chain of people who've had a hand in shaping who Lara Croft is. I am Jill Murray. I'm lead writer for Shadow of the Tomb Raider with Eidos Montreal.
I'm Daniel Chailly-Bisson. I'm game director on Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I worked on Tomb Raider 2013 as a game director, and then I've been, for the last 3 years and a half, been working on Shadow of the Tomb Raider as a game director. So I've been 8 years on the franchise since the beginning, since the reboot.
We were meeting Lara at the top of Shadow of the Tomb Raider in full possession of all of her skills and powers, doing what she's always been successful at doing, staying ahead of Trinity, getting to the artifact first, taking it. She realizes suddenly she's made a terrible mistake, has set off the apocalypse. So her challenge and our challenge for this game is to really look at heroism in a more mature light and say, well, maybe it's not being the fastest or having the best intentions or being the strongest. It's really about what do you do when you realize that you've made a mistake, that you're not perfect. How do you define yourself and your actions going forward?
Been there since the beginning of the reboot, because at the time, the last game that Crystal has shipped was Underworld, and that the reboot, Lara was always important, even the reboot was, we knew it was core to what we wanted to tell as a story, and same thing about tomb raiding, and that was the thing that was for sure we were bringing back, from the classical version. Platforming became traversal, and puzzle became tombs, and smart, resourceful Lara. So when we looked at that, we said, okay, now we need to create a real character. We wanted to create a character that everyone can relate to, can say, that could be me. And Jill, brought her own heart and soul to this last chapter.
I think what we have for Shadow of the Tomb Raider is a more emotional, character-driven story than we've been able to have in the last two installments. We're really benefiting from the work that has been put in to establish her character, who she is in relationship to the world, everything that she's already been through. And so with this installment, we have a smaller cast of characters, which allows us to go more into depth into their relationships. We see a lot, especially in the friendship between Lara and Jonah, how they've evolved together, the tensions that arise between them, their very different points of views on how to accomplish things, with Jonah offering a very steady, gentle, humanist approach that is in contrast to Lara's very active, adrenaline-driven, and in this game, guilt-driven approach.
The beginning will feel very similar to Rise because because Lara is starting with the whole arsenal that she learned from Rise. And that was key for us because we wanted to showcase a much more experienced Lara because everything she went through from Rise. As soon as you get into the jungle, and after that, that's where all the new mechanics starts to kick in because she needs to learn how to deal with the challenge that she's facing in a very different way. Two previous games, she was shaped by the world, she was reacting to it. Now she's analyzing it, learning from it, and becoming that world. And then when we're saying becoming the jungle, that's what it means. She's becoming, learning it. Even her interaction with the jaguar, she's learning from that. Very painful way, but she does. Learning how cunning is very important when you're trying to survive in this environment. In Rise, and I remember I was saying that to my level designers, we need to get her drop, we need to get her fall. That's why she's falling that much in these games, because we didn't have any mechanics that was permitting us to go down. And now we have the whole rappel thing, we have the underwater diving, so everything now shows a lot more confidence in how she's interacting with that world. It's not just about ascending or moving forward, it's also going down. When you start really experiencing these new ways to traverse the world, you realize that the world is actually built in a different way than the two previous games. You're feeling it's a different experience. When you think about darkness, also when you're thinking about what we experience in the game, is because we're facing the consequence of our own action. And because the actions are very, world-threatening, it's like a surgeon. A surgeon, if he fails a surgery, somebody will die. Lara, in her tomb raiding way of doing things, is that if she's messing up something, then there's multiple people. It's, you know, it's world threatening.
I will say we're also seeing a lighter version of the character, and especially when we arrive in places like Paititi, which is the largest social hub we've ever created. Lara's sense of humor can come out more. We see her having to work with people, which is kind of new after so much time spent alone adventuring in tombs. And so I would say more than Darkness, this is a game of contrast. And I think people are going to find that true of the story as well. The industry is super collaborative. If you want to be a game writer, do not expect to sit by yourself writing. Most of your time will be spent in meetings, and it will be a good thing. So be as collaborative as possible.
I would say two things. Have passion. You don't have to care exactly for all video games, but have passion in what you want to do. Understand what you want to do, have passion about that, and never give up. Even if the doors are closed, even if people are slapping the doors in front of you, never give up and have the courage to face a developer and say, here's what I can do.